Hello everyone, Bantu Queen. So I'm at the park right now. I was just thinking about something, I come to the parks 4 3 times a week, four 3 times, sometimes 5 times a week. And it's something that I realized is every time I will see a lot of grandparents with their grandkids. A lot. Some grandparents go like two little one, a baby and a toddler. And you see them like looking after them very, very nicely. And my thought was automatically, I'm like, these people have raised a child. They raised their child until the child become adults, had their own kids, and there they are again, looking after the grandkids. Sorry. Obviously, that means that probably the parents are working, so they're probably with the kids for most of the day, probably many times a week. My question is that if your parents can make that much, I'm not going to call it sacrifice because many will tell you that they enjoy it. So if your parents could put that much of their time into you and your kids, why can't you put the same passion, the same energy on your own parents when they grow old, when they're older, and when they need you, and then rather than putting them in the home? Why can't you, I think for me, I feel like the home should be like the last resort. It should be like when you have explored all the options. You have really tried, but that there's really not much you can do. And when I say not much you can do, it really have to be like things that you really cannot change, you cannot help, that I really like. I'm not talking about accommodation, because I feel like when you see how much it costs to put the people in the home where most of them are not really happy, you can actually get a bigger house and arrange it so that your parents can live with you. Even if you're working, you'll be easier. It will even be easier. I mean, who am I? What I want to say is that if your parents can make that much effort for you, for your kids, put that much time on you, why can't you make the same effort for your parents? Why can't you explore everything you can explore to make like the last year into this health, like the peaceful, happy, where they're surrendered with their family, rather than putting them in the home because you feel like it's too much and that you can't do it and this and that. What? I mean, because you see them looking after those kids is amazing. It's amazing. And I just can't imagine that tomorrow when your parents get to the point where you feel like it's too much, you just put them in the home because you can't cook. So if you are the child, you can't cook, what make you feel like where you will put them, people there will cope with them? Why will people there cope with them? Seriously. I see people constantly like crying, talking, they found out how the parents were treated in those homes. And I'm like, what do you expect? Seriously, what do you expect? When I was younger, I was very, very young. I was in high school. I took a job to make some money during one summer when I was going to go and work in the retirement home. And the job was supposed to be for 2 months. For people who know me, I'm a very hard-working person. I'm not scared to do what I need to do when at the moment I know I need to do it. I'm somebody who I feel like life is like stairs. You have different stairs. And at a specific moment in your life, you have to do certain things to reach the step that goes higher. And that's how I've always functioned in my life. Just going from the bottom all the way up. Not even bottom. Bottom, when I say bottom, is like I started for being in school, doing all these jobs. Many people will look down on. I was doing them in school because I need to have my own money when I was in school. And when I took that job, and I didn't really have any knowledge about what it was really until I got the job, and I got there the first day. When I got there the first day, it was heartbreaking. It was very, very difficult. It was very, very hard. I saw these people in the middle of people that you don't know. Like they're out of everything that they know, everything that they knew all their life. Now that they're in the place where people will come in and out of the room without really asking them, without really giving a care about how they feel, you know. In the morning, they will just wake them up anyhow when it's time for shower. And you can't really blame people who are working there, because back then, even now, it's still the same problem. This is a very difficult job to do. It's very, very difficult job to do. Like, look after an adult or older person who, like, not very strong anymore. You have to look after them, you have to bath them, you have to change them, you have to do all those things. It's not easy. And on top of that, those people who are doing the job are not paid very well. I can understand that it's not the fault. This is no, they can't take the frustration and the anger on those people that are working too. But most people, that's the way they are, you know. They don't feel like they have what it takes to take that frustration to the right people. So they will just take it to the person closest to them. And the person closest to them are those people that they hire to look after. And the kind of stuff that I saw on that place in just 1 week, I thought I was going to lose my mind. That they will just drag them, you know. Nobody's asking them how they feel, what they want, what they don't want. You just drag them in the bathroom because you have to bath them, because one person needs to look after like 10 people. You only have like 1 hour, 2 hours to get 10 people to go into shower. So it's like just dragging them, you know. And you're dragging them, you know. Some of them, their skin is dry because, you know, for a very long time. And I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. I really feel that for white people, their skin, when they get old, they become like paper. Like, if you just pull it a bit, it will tear. Because that's what they told me when I went to that place. Because all of them have bruises on their arm because they've been dragged anyhow. And they will tell you that the skin is like that. But the reason why it's like that, because first of all, the brutality where people are handling them, and on top of that, because the skin is dry, you know, the skin is dry. You go to the shower, come out of the shower, nobody never puts lotion on the skin or anything like that. So all those things, it's just the sums of all these different things. And I couldn't believe it. And I look at those things. I remember that particular lady. She came there the second day that I was working there. And when she came in, she was very able. Like, she was walking, she was talking, she was like the first day in the home. She was trying to organize everything, put everything nicely together. And 5 days, only 5 days later, because I stayed there, I stayed there 8 days. 5 days only, it was a different person. It's like finally she realized what was happening to her. She realized where she was, and she just decided to, like, it kind of giving up. She gave up, and she was a totally different person who couldn't do anything. After just 4 days, she couldn't do anything for herself again. She was not reacting. She was not responding to what was going on around her. She was just like, almost like that. And that thing really broke my heart. Like, I was like, why would you put your parents in a place like that? Why would you do that? These are people who brought you to this or look after you. Why would you put them in a place like this? Some of them were there for years, and when you're having conversation with them, they will tell you that the last time they saw their kids was maybe a year ago. And when you ask them, why are they living far from here? They're not from here, they don't live here. They will tell you they live here. Not only they live here, they live in the same how to say it, in the same borough, in the same, like, seriously, from the house to where the parents is, it will take maybe 10 minutes to 5 minutes. They still can't make that effort to come and see their parents on those places. They can't make that effort to come and see their parents. And I keep on thinking that, did they actually realize that the way they are treating their parents, themselves will be treated the same way? But I feel like it kind of like is a how to say that, some of them are taking it as a fatality. Like, oh no, anyway, yeah, I have to do what I have to. I put my parents there, I know they will do the same thing to me. I don't care, that's life. But it's sad for people to feel like that's life. That's sad. Because for someone who are live all their life, they have taken care of their kids, have raised their kids, the kids now are now adult, living their own life, to finish their life that way, that's sad. That's very, very sad. And I don't understand how can somebody think that it's okay and feel like okay that's just how you no, it doesn't have to be like that. I'm sorry. I feel like those home for old people, Elderly people should be the last resort. It should really be in the case where maybe they don't have any family member, or maybe I don't know. It should be the last resort. There shouldn't be those that many of those homes everywhere in Europe. Everywhere I live in France and now in England, they're everywhere. It shouldn't be like that. I mean, somebody you should make, shouldn't even be the effort. It should be normal for you to look after your parents and to make the last years in this world as beautiful as I say as beautiful as possible, as peaceful as possible, as relaxed as possible. And another thing that people don't realize, that if your parents are amongst their grandkids and yourself, they're not gonna the state is not gonna deteriorate. How do you say that? It's not gonna worsen that much. It will not. It will really, because they will get involved. I remember my great grandmother. My great grandmother, when she died, she was like over 100 years old. And that lady, every time, she was living with my grandmother. My grandmother separated from my grandfather, so went to live with her. Was living with her mom. So we used to go and see them regularly. And whenever we would be there, we would go there. She would be so happy. You will see how active she would be. Like she would be going climbing to cook for us, to do this. So it was so funny. It was so funny, she feels so happy. She feel like, my great grandkids are there, like I believe that even my grandmother, they have taken, my great grandmother was put somewhere where no one is there with her, no one come to visit her, no one come to see her, she wouldn't have lived that long. And she died standing, she died walking, she died living. She died living. She didn't die somewhere, abandoned somewhere where no one was looking after her, where no one barely went to see her. No, I feel like it's sad. Seriously, people. I mean, those are changes that need to be done. When you talk about all the changes, people want to change. They want to change that, but that's the basic. In Africa, they say a old person who died is a whole library that goes with the person, because it's knowledge. But people don't even value that knowledge anymore. Me, I love sitting down with older people and to hear their stories. I love it because it's so much. But the more and more people are not interested on those things. Those things are like no one pay attention to that. But by the time that people are going to realize those things, many generations that are very, very important would have been gone. You can have books. A book is not the same than having hearing something from the person themselves, but for direct perspective of a person who lived through, who experienced something. Books are not the same. They're not the same. So I mean, value your elderly. Value them. Seriously, value them. Like I said, you see how your parents who are looking after your kids now, your babies, your toddlers, who could be doing. I believe that there's a lot of things that can be doing. I'm sure that they enjoy looking after them. I also believe that they can be doing certain things for themselves, going on holiday, just enjoying themselves. But they're putting that time down to help you look after your kids. So you too, tomorrow, one day we need you. You have to put the time down to look after them. Find a way to look after them. That's just what I wanted to say on this place. Look after your people. Look after your parents, your grandparents. Look after them. It's worth it. It's very, very important. It's very, very important.